Depending on what happens to us in life, we often feel lucky or unlucky. When things go well, we consider ourselves fortunate, but if things go wrong, we judge ourselves negatively and believe we are persecuted by misfortune. These constant judgments about ourselves and what happens to us are actually heavy limits to the serenity we could experience in the present moment. In this video, we will guide you to the elimination of such limits through a powerful Buddhist story, and in the end you will feel instant liberation from all conditioning. We make this promise to you. Follow the video to the end. In the times of Lao Tzu in China, there was an old man who resided in a quiet village. His poverty was evident, but even the rulers were envious of him because of his magnificent white horse, a unique specimen of its kind. The king himself approached the old man and offered him rich rewards in exchange for his precious steed. However, the old man firmly replied, "This horse is not simply a horse to me, but an integral part of my family. How could I ever sell it?" Even the neighbors tried to convince him to sell the animal, but in vain. One morning, the old man woke up to the bitter discovery that his beloved horse was no longer in the stable. The people of the whole village gathered and, addressing the old man, exclaimed, "We already knew that one day the horse would be stolen. Considering your poverty, you would have done better to sell it. You could have got a good sum. Now it's gone, a curse, a misfortune." But the old man calmly replied, "Don't exaggerate, just say that the horse is not in the stable. Whether it's misfortune or luck, who can tell?" The people laughed, thinking that the old man had lost his mind. He could have sold his horse and lived comfortably. Instead, he persevered in his condition of misery. However, after a few days, just when everything seemed lost, the horse suddenly returned. It had not been stolen, but had run off into the wild, and with it were 12 magnificent wild horses. Once again, the villagers gathered in astonishment and exclaimed, "Incredible! This is real luck." But the old man, maintaining his composure, said, "Hold on, do not go further. Just say that the horse has returned and has brought 12 others with it. But do not judge whether it is misfortune or fortune, who can say?" The people fell silent, although they were well aware that those 12 magnificent horses would bring in large sums if sold. Subsequently, the old man's son, his only heir, began to train those wild horses. But one day during a training session, he fell from one of the horses and broke both his legs. Once again, the village gathered and began to make hasty judgments. "Your only son has lost the use of his legs. He was your support in old age. What a great misfortune." The old man, without losing his composure, replied, "Hold on, do not go further. Just say that my son broke his legs. Whether it's misfortune or fortune, who can say?" Sometime later, the country found itself involved in a war against a neighboring nation. All the young men in the village were conscripted for military service, except the old man's son, who, because of his broken legs, was spared. The village gathered once again. They were all grieved for the fate of their own sons, taken away by force and without any hope of return, since the enemy nation was powerful. It seemed impossible for the young men to return home. The entire village turned to the old man, declaring, "This has been a blessing. Your son may be lame, but he is still with you, while our sons have gone forever." The old man, in all his wisdom, said, "Continue to judge. Your sons were forced to fight, while my son had to stay. No one knows whether it's misfortune or fortune, who can say?" If we reflect on our lives, we often try to control events, declaring what would have been good or bad. When things develop as we wish, we rejoice, but when things do not go as we hoped, we feel disappointed. Too often we are hasty in judging an event and in determining whether it was positive or negative. But in reality, we cannot know for sure whether something that happens is really good or bad. We cannot fully predict whether an event will turn out positive or negative in the long term. As happens in this Buddhist story, something that seems like good news initially could bring discomfort and problems in the future. Likewise, something that seems negative at first might turn out to be extremely positive over time. The old farmer in this story does not judge, but simply accepts what happens in the present and in a state of equanimity, which represents the highest form of serenity we can achieve. Therefore, if we want to always be happy in our lives, we must avoid being hasty in judging things and situations. What seems like a curse today could turn into a fortune tomorrow. Be open to possibilities and let time reveal the true nature of events. If you enjoyed this precious Buddhist story, we invite you to subscribe to the Pearls of Wisdom channel and activate the bell to receive more content on spirituality and personal development. Thank you for watching the video, and remember not to judge and to be open to possibilities and events living in the present. Leave a comment, let us know what you think, and you will receive a response. See you in the next video.